And then they extorted her for $5 million, found her guilty in order to discredit her from ever being licensed as a money services business with the FDIC, because she had been found guilty of being an unscrupulous finance company owner, and the feds don't play with that. They're not going to let you own a finance company, a bank, or anything close to a bank when you have been found guilty by a 12-member jury for being an unscrupulous finance company owner. It was a scheme. And an attorney's son named Greg Fuller was the fall guy, the pawn. All Miss Eugenia did is lose $1,500 in a theft scheme by an attorney's son, Greg Fuller. And then Marshall County Courthouse moved, and as planned, a man came into our office during that $5 million lawsuit, and he said, "You don't know me and you don't need to know me, but I'm familiar with the $5 million lawsuit that this finance company is involved in currently. And I'm here to tell you that that scheme was hatched over a poker game and a bottle of whiskey by Judge Evans and Attorney Fuller." And he turned around and walked out. I mentioned that to my mother yesterday on the phone, and she said, "I remember." Yeah, we remember. We remember Marshall County. We opposed their finance company robbery, and they returned to the scene of the crime to kill us. And that's the God's truth.
Wow!
When we appealed to the Supreme Court, they sabotaged $10 million. And then they did that by holding up our license 10 months, running off 3,500 customers. We continue to pay our 36 full-time employees. Folks, by today's standards, you pay 36 full-time employees. You'll spend $250,000 a month to do that. We did it with no revenue. Why? They were systematically strangulating us to death. Why? Because we appealed their $5 million extortion scheme to the Montgomery County Supreme Court of Alabama. They weren't expecting the Supreme Court to take our case. They were not expecting the U.S. Department of Justice to take our case. Folks, they're an embarrassment to the civilized world.